For my first run, I decided that for the first and only time in this challenge, I'd pick Corrin's talent and wife, and I decided on the combination of fighter talent and Camilla marriage. Now, this might raise some red flags, but let me reassure you that I have two excellent reasons to pick Camilla. The fighter and wyvern class trees work well together for both units, and Berserker Corrin backpacking Camilla is the best non-Corrin, non-Mozu option I have for one-rounding the final boss. Given Conquest's reputation, it's a bit ironic that Embrace the Dark is probably the easiest Chapter 6 for experience purposes. Takumi, Hinoka, and Yukimura are all trivial, and it's pretty easy to get perfect hit rates with Corrin against Ryoma if Xander manages to land 2 hits and Elise manages to land a freeze. With that, it's time for Conquest proper to begin. Chapter 7 starts off easily enough and gets even easier once the 4 new recruits join, so while Effie and Corrin are busy welling the Faceless off, I'll detail my initial plans for these 6. Corrin's planned class route will change every run, of course, but my plan for this one was to grab Draconic Hex and Soul, spend most of the game as a Wyvern Lord, dip into Malignite for Trample, and then dismount as a Berserker for the final maps. I thought for a bit about feeding Jacob early experience to make him a capable combatant in the mid-game, but I'll get into why that wasn't feasible in the next episode. Silas, though this game's best Soul Ninja, will have even more important duties coming up that are mutually exclusive with Soul Ninja greatness. I'll enjoy his early game dominance, though. I misplayed with Elise on this map and let her level up once. I'm sure it's clear why that was a misplay. Arthur requires a disproportionate investment to become a good combat unit, investment that I'd rather give to other units, though I do desperately want him to hit level 10 as soon as possible. He may be the 3rd best dual striker in the game, but my very particular plans for him necessitate him being stuck on backpack duty, at least in the short term. Finally, Effie is a unit I can say with no reservations is worse in Gay Fates than in base Conquest. Her best friendship is now a marriage, and thus takes 2 maps longer, leaving her with less time to take advantage of Archer's speed growth. Under my rules, she can't even marry Arthur to leave Knight that way. With that said, I do have big plans for her, ones I'll reveal soon enough. Anyway, it looks like the bottom part of the map's cleared. Enjoy me reshuffling my units in order to, in spite of what I said earlier, get as many levels as possible on Arthur. Quite unfortunately, I didn't get the C supports I wanted out of this map, but I'm not too worked up about that, and I do end up finding a seat of trust to rectify that. What I also end up rectifying is Elise not having a weapon in her hands, as the first of 5 heart seals you can have until Chapter 20 goes to her. Wyvern Elise might have accuracy issues, but those aren't that hard to patch up in Conquest, and giving her an axe accelerates her experience gain, improves her bulk, and allows her to use her personal skill much more effectively. On to Chapter 8. Without the DLC path bonuses, there's no way to stop the house directly north of our starting position from being visited, so everyone heads west instead, where we're joined by 2 new recruits. Niles can have issues dealing damage, but I do want him to be a semi-permanent team member, if for no other reason than to capture key units in Chapters 23 and 24. Odin, on the other hand, needs no special justification for a spot on the team. He's just that good. In an Iron Man context, Odin's near invulnerability with Nosferatu makes his MO of 2-rounding enemies a lot more valuable than if you're playing as fast as, say, Coding Ant. Check her channel out, by the way. I'll try and get Odin up to speed quickly. This being an Iron Man, most clears are improvised by definition, but on maps with as much time pressure as this one, I do tend to at least plan out my moves for the first turn. Or, in this case, blatantly copy Zoran. The one exception is that Odin can't live hits from all 3 of these Dark Mages without Demoiselle, so I let Niles take the kills instead. This was not my best improvisation, and I think it's easy to tell that this was my first attempt at this. I just left too many units paired inside Flora's range. At least some actually genuinely skillful guard gauge activations kept my butler safe, and Odin was able to benefit from the improv with a couple of kills. Unfortunately, Odin's second kill comes on the exact turn as the final aggressive enemies begin approaching, and it's time for me to scramble. Elise manages to stall for a turn by activating the second Dragon Vein, but now I'm officially out of time. Turn 10 will make or break this map. I just need to find a way to get some kills without exposing my units to too much fire. Jacob leads the turn off by one-rounding a Dark Mage, something he's done a lot. Then, though, I just spent some time thinking of anything I can do to save Jacob from the death trap I just put him in. And what I come up with is glorious. I leave Effie within a fighter's range without a weapon equipped. The fighter and a Dark Mage both see free damage and go for it, leaving Jacob to take out the final Dark Mage and cripple the other fighter. The significantly weakened group of enemies is now free for the taking. Hey Odin, how many villages did the Lancer visit?
2.
Elise manages to pick up Strength +2, a few more kills after she should have gotten it. Now, once Odin takes out Flora with help from a dual strike, the rest of the map is just a mop-up operation. You know what that means? Enjoy the level up montage.
What? Never.
Am I?
Hey Odin, how many tomes are you holding right now?
2.
Kilma has the pretty deadly combo of Nosferatu and Vantage, but Jacob weakens him to exactly 1 HP over Vantage range. With Odin supplying Heartseeker to guarantee Corrin's hit, she gets the Kilma, ending the map with a maximum gold reward of 10,000 from visiting the Fire Emblem Three Houses. Between maps, I purchased Nosferatu from Odin's Fell storefront, only to give it right back to him. Let Chapter 9 begin. Nyx has a lot of potential for fun builds, everyone in this game does, but she takes too many resources and involves too much support routing for my liking, so unless things get really scuffed, this map will be her only deployment. Jacob, you weren't supposed to get that crit. Alright, Odin, 1 miss is alright. I have as many chances as they have heal uses. Azura uses the Dragon Vein to make my life a lot easier as Odin sets up his experience funnel now that Chihiro's out of Enfeeble uses. Effie's backpack allows Odin to take less damage from these archers. Passing her off to Elise instead lets her grind weapon rank as Odin continues to get experience. Of the initial enemy groups, the one to the east is definitely the least trivial. Even with Azura's help, I'll need to be careful here. Effie starts us off by baiting a pair of spear fighters and the archer. I checked. This Corrin is speed blessed, but only by 1 point. I guess enemy archers are just slow. Arthur's gunning for level 10 ASAP. He'll take chip experience anywhere he can get it, even if it's off of a dual strike. Even with Corrin holding the Yato, which was a misplay, she holds up for the one turn I needed. So does Elise. Now to clear them out. That's level 10. Arthur can lay his problems to rest for a while. I won't need him to attack. With Azura rejoining the team, I can now detail my plans for her. She's staying in Songstress. What else is there to say? Level 10 is also a pretty big milestone for Odin. Malefic Aura is one hell of a skill. I'm not sure exactly on what turn the reinforcements were triggered and blocked, but I'd love to know. Anyway, let's turn our attention to Haitaka. This being an Iron Man and Haitaka being a stationary boss in a fort, of course I'm going to take advantage of every bit of chip XP I can get out of him. Though, of course, after a lot of chip, Niles gets the capture, hitting level 10 himself. Paralogue 1 is up next. Before the star of the show begins her training arc, I do need to fight my way down the east side, gaining some needed experience, weapon ranks, and support points. Now, for Mozu. I do plan to use her as she has the potential to be a truly monumental player phase nuke. But not as a villager. Mozu is getting the second of my 5 early heart seals, and the last one before Chapter 14. Honestly, training Mozu as an archer isn't exactly that hard. The hardest part is instead finding a balance between making sure Mozu gets a C support with Effie and grinding Elise's axe rank. I'll admit I didn't strike that balance perfectly here, but I did refine it on future attempts. With that said, enjoy the grind.
Level 7 Mozu. She's officially caught up. My thesis when it comes to Mozu is that once she's off the ground with a heart seal and the barely contested experience in her join map, she stops becoming a training project. From here on, she's just another good member of the team, and one I'll put to use immediately in Invasion 1. This invasion is my last chance to meet experience goals before the storm that's coming. There's 4 Cavaliers in the west, 4 Wyvern Riders in the east, and 6 Mercenaries to the south that I'll have to intercept sooner or later. With my newly reorganized My Castle, it's time to fend off the invaders. Mozu kicks things off in the east by cleanly one-shotting a Wyvern. Odin and Corrin follow up with kills of their own, while Azura helps body block the final Wyvern. In the west, I've tasked Jacob and Elise with taking care of the Cavaliers. Jacob takes out the first with the aid of Lily's poise, then heavily chips another on enemy phase. Effie crucially hits level 10 with his final Wyvern kill. The entire red group heads down, preparing to engage the mercenaries. Elise finishes off the second Cavalier, while Arthur and Jacob use their full movement capabilities to try and intercept the remaining two. So, turns out Arthur didn't have a weapon equipped. He and Jacob finish off the third Cavalier, leaving Elise and Lilith to stop the final one. The mercenaries have arrived, though we can tackle the first pair without being exposed to the second. The third pair headed north, right into Jacob's line of fire. And as for that first pair, through a transfer chain, Azura is able to sing to Mozu and get her both kills, and a level up out of it. Elise stops the Cavalier one tile away from his destination. I had to refine the strategy for Invasion 1, and I'm glad to say I succeeded. Effie chips the front mercenary, setting up Mozu for her third merc kill. Keep in mind these hit rates are at B-rank weapon triangle disadvantage. This Feeble Vetter attack is pretty risky, but nobody's actually in danger here, so I'm fine with it. That's a fourth merc kill for Mozu, her fifth kill on the map, and level 9 secured. All that's left is for Jacob and Elise to take out the last pair, and Invasion 1 has been repelled. Now, I won't be showing this run's Chapter 10. In fact, this is where my coverage of this attempt ends. Chapter 10 went kinda horribly and the run bled out very quickly from there, ending in Chapter 14. However, the reason I've been showing you this footage isn't because I plan to show you the full attempt. It's because I forgot to record these chapters on my final attempt. My OBS setup had an issue that I didn't know about until I started streaming my Chapter 10 attempt to Discord, so I decided to use this footage instead. Frankly, my early game strategies have changed the least from when I started this challenge to when my final run ended, so you didn't miss much. With that said, next up is Chapter 10 in an Iron Man. It's gonna be glorious.